The Rona caught up with me. Yes, despite my best efforts, I have COVID. I wanted to share with you my experiences as a person living with MS and how it affected me and my body, how my body responded to the virus. But first, a disclaimer. This is me sharing my experience and a bit of what the research shows. This is not medical advice. If you are experiencing any symptoms related to MS or COVID, please seek the advice of a medical expert. Please. Second disclaimer. Everyone's experience with this virus is different, just like everyone's experience with MS is different. I'm not saying any of this will or could happen to you, and please, no judgment or hate in the comments. I just delete those comments anyways. It all started last Saturday with a sore throat. I took a COVID test and it came back negative. On Sunday, I had a bit of a cough and some sinus pressure and a headache, and I took a COVID test and it was negative. On Monday, I added the symptoms of body ache, lots of fatigue, and racing heart. I took a COVID test and it came back positive, like really positive in seconds. I was able to get a video appointment with a doctor and we discussed options. We decided not to go with the antivirals as I'm not considered a high-risk individual because I'm not on an immunosuppressive DMT and I'm not considered to be at risk because of my weight or age. Overall, I'm healthy and well despite my MS. I eat a whole food, plant-based diet, more on that later. I exercise regularly, I get good sleep, and I meditate and practice kindness daily. The antivirals have some side effects and risks, so we decided on low-dose prednisone and treating the symptoms as needed with acetaminophen and cough and sinus medication. A Monday night was not a good night. I had breathing difficulties and very little sleep and low oxygen levels. You all have a pulse oximeter in your house now, right? No? I will put a link in the description below. Get one. Luckily, my oxygen levels rebounded quickly. On the upside, when I couldn't sleep, I found a great video on doing cute hair at 2 a.m. It was super easy and it looks great with my gray hair, don't you think? On Tuesday, I was able to do another video call with my doctor and he prescribed an inhaler to help with the breathing difficulties and told me to seek medical attention and go get oxygen if my levels dropped again. Ideally, oxygen levels should be between 95 and 100%. Between 90 and 95% is worrisome, and under 90% is considered low and a reason to seek urgent medical attention. The scary thing is that our oxygen levels can be low with no symptoms. Low oxygen levels are nothing to mess with. I will put a link to this article in the description below. Some patients see worsening of oxygen levels later on in the illness and don't realize it. In this article, it states, days 5 through 10 of the illness are often the most worrisome time for respiratory complications of COVID-19, particularly for older patients and those with underlying conditions like high blood pressure, obesity, or diabetes. Younger patients who develop complications may begin struggling a little later, as late as days 10 to 12. So it's important to keep checking our levels. I check mine on several fingers and average out the numbers. The at-home pulse oximeters are not really that accurate, but they're the tool we have and they can be helpful. My doctor also shared how the new variants are crazy transmissible. I'm recording this in mid-July 2022 and Omicron BA.4 and BA.5 are making their way through the US rapidly. And they're sneaky. According to this article, they are masters at evading immunity, and previous infections or vaccines are not much protection against them. Tuesday morning, I was feeling a bit better, but by Tuesday evening, I started to feel pretty bad again. My oxygen levels were bouncing around again, and as the day grew long, my symptoms seemed to increase. I decided that an early bedtime was in order, despite the day spent in the hammock. Wednesday, I felt a bit better. I still had crushing fatigue and my lungs were definitely still irritated, but my oxygen levels seemed to be a bit better and more stable. Some of the cold-like symptoms were lessening, and I was thinking more clearly. Did I mention the cog fog? How bad was the fatigue? Well, I took a shower and I had to lay down. And then I got dressed and I had to lay down. And then I dried my hair and I had to lay down. This fatigue is no joke. I spent the day on the deck or in the hammock. See, I was also trying to keep my dear hubby safe, and so I was keeping my germs outside as much as possible. And honestly, I think it was doing me some good. Being out in nature is naturally healing and good for us. Check out my video above and in the description below for the benefits of forest bathing. On Thursday, I awoke feeling almost good. Almost. I slept better and my voice was starting to sound like me again. Even better, my oxygen levels and pulse were back to normal. Hooray! I felt like I was turning a corner. I still decided to spend the day on the deck or laying in the hammock following the doctor's orders to rest, and push fluids. Oh, I didn't mention the fluids yet. I have been really drinking a lot, and I definitely feel it's helping. My drinks of choice are half-calf coffee or iced coffee, water, and seltzer. I try to have one next to me at all times to encourage drinking. Another benefit of being outside all day long is I get to spend time with our two new foster pups, Annie, the big black dog, and Spencer, the beagle. Some of you have virtually met Lincoln, the wonder dog, in other videos that I've done. He passed away in February after being my best friend for 14 years. I didn't think I was ready for a new dog yet, but circumstances change, and here I am with two. They've been with us for about 2 weeks and seem to be really enjoying the yard. The beagle in particular is very intuitive and tries to provide comfort when I'm feeling low or yucky. I'm filming this 5 days after testing positive. I can say that I'm definitely on the mend. I'll be continuing to isolate for another 5 days out of an abundance of caution and continuing to rest and enjoy time in the hammock and pushing the fluids. My oxygen levels are consistently good today, and I continue to watch them, and my pulse rate is really back to normal. Overall, I would say I've had mild COVID-19. Cold-like symptoms, body aches, fatigue, cog fog, and elevated heart rate. I know what you're thinking. That's great, Vicki, but how did it affect your MS symptoms? Excellent question. I gotta say, the only two things I noticed were increase in fatigue and cog fog, which are part of COVID-19 anyway, and honestly, since I'm familiar with both of these because of my MS, they really didn't freak me out that much. I was like, oh, you two clowns again. I know you. I've dealt with you before. I didn't have a relapse. I didn't have any more weakness or spasms or sensation loss. My MS seemed to have remained stable despite the virus. One of the reasons I believe I've had a mild case is due to my diet. You all know that I'm using a 4-pillar approach to living well with my MS that includes diet, whole food plant-based, exercise. I move my body regularly with a combination of cardio and strength training, sleep. I try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night and practice good sleep hygiene, and kindness. I practice intentional kindness towards my body, myself, and others. The diet may have played a key role in my mild case. This paper, which I'll link below, stated, participants who reported following plant-based diets and plant-based diets or pescatarian diets had 73% and 59% lower odds of moderate to severe COVID-19 severity. And that those who reported following low carbohydrate, high protein diets had greater odds of moderate to severe COVID. Just saying. So, what's next? We'll have to wait and see. In this article by Harvard, they report a systematic review published by JAMA Network Open reported that more than half of people infected with COVID-19 continue to experience at least one symptom 6 months after diagnosis. I'm going to continue to check my oxygen levels and hope to make a full and speedy recovery. If I find that I have lingering symptoms, I'll do a follow-up video. After experiencing this, I have 3 bits of advice for you. 1, do not be lulled into thinking we're out of the woods with this pandemic. The new variants are very contagious, sneaky, and spreading fast. And trust me, you don't want to feel like I did this week. 2, get a pulse oximeter. You may not feel when your oxygen levels are low, and you may need medical intervention. These little devices can be helpful with any respiratory illness. Check out the link below if you'd like to order one. 3, care for one another, please. As you know, kindness is one of the pillars to my living well with my MS. Early on in the pandemic, Dr. Anthony Fauci said, "I don't know how to explain to you that you should care for other people." Care for other people. Wear your mask, get vaccinated, wash your hands, keep your distance, especially if you have symptoms. And please, please be respectful of those who are dealing with chronic illness or underlying conditions. The question of the day is, what are your questions? Do you have questions for me about my COVID experience? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, the thumbs ups underneath the video. And if you're not subscribed yet, why not? Go ahead and hit the subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Until next time, my dear friends, be well.